Hey, Bonnie.
Hello, Bonnie. Hello, everyone.
Hello, other Bonnie.
Welcome to Daily Invocation. I am invoking release, or put more accurately and mo better, releasing.
Which gives us an opportunity to talk about the different modes of release. We can breathe, shake it out. I don't know if we've talked on our channel or if you've ever heard. We think it's pretty common, but maybe you haven't. In when I was working in LA County with the Department of Mental Health, we did a lot of training around trauma in the body, even secondary trauma, as emergency workers and things of that nature. So nurses, cops, mental health providers, we were provided services 24/7. We were available for emergencies. So we were trained on all sorts of ways that organically will occur, that the body will have its own response to release the trauma. And so the biggest example of this is a book written many, many years ago. It's really popular in psychology and somatic circles around how when an animal is chased or is finds itself in a situation where there's a threat, we've heard the words flight, freeze, and fight, right? So what happens after that is that the body of the animal will shake. It's involuntary. In fact, we've seen it here in the jungle when a little, is it a gecko? Is that what they're called? That just fell to the ground and it froze. And we were like, oh my God, is it still alive? And then you could see it breathing very heavily, which again is one of the ways of releasing trauma. And when we say trauma, it doesn't have to be these huge experiences.
We like things. Witnessing a car accident is a trauma.
Exactly. It could be the secondary trauma of hearing somebody else going through something really difficult, especially when we really love and care about those people. Nowadays, it could be listening to the news, right? A lot of us have become more and more aware of the bias towards negativity in mass media, so we stay away from it. That's a good way to detox. So it could be that.
Could be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Could be waking up after a rough night's sleep. Waking up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
We're not here to judge trauma. We're just in a traumatic field, a traumatic vortex, some healers are calling it now. So It's a great time to be releasing.
And the thing with the dream, just like when someone tells you a traumatic story, possibly, is that the mind doesn't know the difference between reality, like the physical world that we think this has actually happened, that was a dream. If you're a lucid dreamer out there, you really know that lesson, that it starts to get wonky after a while when you've been lucid dreaming. So that can work against us in a way, in the sense that we're talking about right now. It could also work for us to help us rewire a past experience with our mind without having to relive it, for example. But that's a subject for another time, and you can come to any of our group transcendation events to get a little bit of that. I know Bonnie and I did some work on that yesterday at Women's Transcendation. Why do we why do I love to dance? Because again, it's flowing and letting energy move through the body rather than having some kind of trauma. Maybe it was verbal abuse, and we don't know where in the body that might get trapped. That memory, the fear, the constriction, um, the freeze, right? So maybe we wanted to run away, but didn't think we had a place to go. So you're seeing the evidence of that. It could be a lot of tension, just like Prasad is experiencing now. That happens for me too. And a lot of us keep tension up here. We hold the tension up here. A lot of us, it'll be in the stomach area, especially if it's around power stuff. So that's another way of release, is literally diarrhea, or loose bowel syndrome.
Many ways to release.
Constipation on the other end, right? If you're just not really ready to let it go, or you haven't done the work to let it go. Vomiting, as we know with some psychedelic drugs, that's part of the process, is the detoxifying nature of releasing that way. It could be even sweat. I mean, think about it, right? We sweat out toxins. Exercise, physical exercise, is not only good for the body and the health, but also you're releasing toxins. People go to the spa, the sauna. Is that the wet one that I really like? What is that one called? Is that
that's a sauna.
Oh, dry sauna, wet sauna.
Dry sauna, wet sauna. Yep.
Yeah. It could be laughter, believe it or not, right? So sometimes, actually, Prasad, in very tense situations, he will laugh, and it seems weird and like out of character.
Weird to you. Weird to Karunadera.
Because I'm like, wait, we're having a really serious conversation and you're laughing in the middle of it, kind of like this. But if we're in a heated argument or something, but it's a form of release. It's just, anyway, the body is so intelligent, as is the mind, as is the soul's even wiser than all of it, right? But it'll do whatever it has to do to release. Oftentimes, I think, well, I'll speak for myself. In my experience, my body will start to do that on its own the farther I am on my path. Not meaning the more evolved I am, just meaning the more time I have had on my path, the body, that wisdom, whether you're tapping into it through meditation, your journal practices, whatever that is for you, your body's wisdom will start to do it on its own, that organic way. And then there are moments, even for those of us who have been on the path for a while, or for those of us that are newer, where we need the support, the encouragement, the holding. I like someone to kind of do this. You could get the same effect with the weighted blankets. I like a little bit of squeezing on my body sometimes. That's also release. It's somatic, it's tactile. In fact, when I worked with children in mental health, for children on the autistic spectrum, especially in the developmental years, they really love this. It's so soothing. So if you watch kids wrestle, I love to wrestle, so every once in a while we'll wrestle too, or after a cuddle party. It's because it's soothing. There's something that feels really good, where it's non-threatening touch in a very different way. Of course, obviously, if you live with someone or you have a partner, if something's wrong with you, they might come over and say, do you need a hug? Do you want to be held or touched? So that's another way that the body will release, is just to feel. The receiving allows a little bit more relaxation, and that's also a release.
So, thank you, honey. To sum up everything beautiful that Karunadera just said, we at Souls Enterprise believe in release, or at least today, invoking the release.
Well, we believe in it always.
Yes, we believe in it always. Today, especially with Stuff Alive for me, we want to highlight all of the modalities available at Souls Enterprise. I'm right now drinking some water to release with the elements, water elements from our deep shamanic work.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who knows me knows I love breath work, probably my favorite. I was demonstrating a lot of breathing. Karuna Dera is fantastic, releasing through movement, embodiment at Soul Steady.
Talk.
Silence. And havening. We do it trauma to triumph, and we can do it group transcendation. All sorts of wonderful techniques. We love invoking. We love sharing.
Bonnie J, who's a composer, you could release through music, whether you play instruments yourself or even just listening to a piece of music you really love that held you through some tough times in the past. I think music is absolute magical medicine too. It could be, a lot of people will say, I think it's called earthing is what we call it now, which just means walk barefoot on the earth. Yeah, we walk barefoot around the farm all the time. It could be for me even like touching the leaf or a flower. Like, so it could, so we were talking about physical touch with each other. For those of us that are alone, especially during COVID, go to Trader Joe's, buy yourself some flowers, and then just touch the flowers, smell the flower. Aromatherapy, it works because it allows several senses to be working at once. So whatever is helpful, we're just inviting you, whatever you want to release in this moment, for today, for this week. It's Monday. For some of us, that means the beginning of a new work week. For others, it means nothing at all if you manage your own schedule. But just tune in and check it out for yourself. Does anything need to be released? And we're just asking for a little tiny bit today. It doesn't have to be releasing a whole person. Just a little, I feel a little pull on my neck. I could breathe into it. I could massage myself for a little bit. I could put my hand on there. I'll go drink some water in a little bit. Just a small way to release. We gave you a whole lot of ways to do it, so that you have a whole spectrum and a whole menu to choose from, because every moment can be very different in terms of what you need from the next time. And prayer. If you feel like you can't possibly release this one piece on your own, call a friend, call on God, Goddess, and ask for support.
Thank you, everyone, for releasing with us, for invoking release. See y'all tomorrow.
Adios.